Hey, I'm Claire.
And I'm Janice.
And this is The X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
We are breakup coaches here to help you beat your breakup,
Heal your broken heart,
and move on to an amazing, abundant life. Hey everyone, welcome to another semi-fun episode of X-Files. And you're about to see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Tell you what we're talking about.
We come in so strong with our breakup sad stories, being like, this is so fun. So yeah, we get it.
It's fun to talk about.
It's fun to talk about, and we are here to uplift your spirits, and give you some inspiration and reassurance that everything's going to be okay. You're going to be able to laugh about this soon. So
yeah, and I think a theme that we've had in the last few episodes, definitely including this one, definitely including last week, why is it taking me so long to get over them, is knowing that it's okay, knowing that you're normal, and validating your pain.
Yeah,
because it's real.
It's real.
So it's a semi-beautiful day here in Denver.
Yes.
Right?
The sun came out for a little while.
And we, our hearts go out to all of the victims of yesterday morning's tragedy. Very scary and frustrating that continues to go on. And we just want to, let the victims and their families know that our hearts go out to them.
Yes.
And before we get started, we also wanted to mention that X-Files is building an online community, and we would love you to join us over there.
Yes. So we have a Facebook group where we see listeners being able to come together, find a support buddy or a support group of people who are understanding what you're going through, where you can talk about what you're learning on the podcast, also ask questions, and we will be in there going live, doing mini trainings. We have a lot of stuff planned for this group. So it's called Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On. It's on Facebook.
Yep.
You'll have to request to join because we made it private so that whatever you're posting in there, if someone's not accepted in the group, they cannot see it. So yeah, and we're going to
others won't know that you're
space.
in it. Yep.
Yes, no one will know
absolutely.
you're in it, and we are going to protect that space like lionesses and make sure that you guys have a really safe place to be and to heal.
Yeah. Yes, and anyone who's DM'd us knows that we love interacting with our listeners, and this will just give us more opportunity to do that. So the link is in the show notes, and we would, like I said, love you to join us.
Yay.
So what are we talking about today? We've got kind of an interesting topic, right?
Yes.
We're going to be talking about the healing benefits of crying and why you should let yourself cry after a breakup.
Yes. And
right?
Yeah. And if this is sounding obvious to you, then congratulations. Well done. Society hasn't affected you too much. So that's great. Keep doing what you're doing. But for a lot of us, it's very much bottle up the pain, internalize, go on with your life. This isn't a big deal. That's like the message that we've got. So we thought we'd do a whole episode today on why crying is so important, what possibly it does, and also, just tips and tricks for releasing emotions in that way.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea that we're doing these episodes on the grieving process, because I know that both of us tend to lean on looking at the bright side of life, which has come from lots of learning, lots of icky experiences. And there is such a thing as toxic positivity?
Yes, toxic positivity.
Right. And although we believe in the power of positive thought, and also the fact that from our point of view, a breakup is an opportunity for a new beginning. There is the other side that absolutely must be recognized so that people can feel validated and be given space. We don't want to be the part of society that says you're not allowed to grieve. So
yes,
let's talk about crying.
Let's talk about crying. Yes. So, there's an important part of the healing journey that we want to make sure that we give space to. So, last week we talked about the issue of moving on and why some people think that it takes them longer than it should or longer than they would like it to take. But a crucial aspect of the moving on portion of the journey is grieving and is feeling all that pain. And as we said in the episode, our society doesn't really allow people a lot of space and time to do this if it's not a death or a divorce.
Even divorce, I don't feel like, and I mentioned this in the episode, do people really get time off work even if it's divorce?
I don't know. I think you would probably know better than I would in that case.
Well,
Yeah.
as you know from my story, I had really supportive people around me, and I just graduated, and so I didn't have a normal job. My friends were supportive. Yeah, I would venture to say though. Oh, and I was working for friends as well. So, but I didn't take time off for it. I showed up work late because I had drank too much, trying to process it. Yeah, but I didn't take time off. But I have been in many jobs and known many people to get divorced. And I think that, yeah, divorce gets recognized more than a non-marriage breakup. But I still don't think that we give even divorced people who are dealing with divorce the space that they need.
Yeah.
And also divorce has its own icky aspects, but it can be just as devastating if you weren't. So
Yeah.
little tangent there. But.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, this is just popping into my head right now, but when I broke up with my ex-fiance, we started breaking up the night before and we confirmed the breakup the next morning.
Icky.
Yeah, on the last day of work for me of the week. And so I confirmed that yes, we were doing this, and then I went to work. And that was very much my mode of coping was go distract myself, don't feel anything. And I remember it was such a bizarre thing. My boss, who was like my manager's manager at that time, but she had been my manager at one point. So but it had been a while since we had like really like talked, at work, but she came by my desk, I think like a couple days later, and like after the weekend, and was like pulled up a chair and was I heard what happened.
Oh God.
You're so strong and you're gonna get through this, and I just want you to know you have support here. And I was like,
okay,
thanks. I was like, that's such a nice thing of her to do. But I also was so out of touch with my feelings and my emotions. I was like, could you not bring it up?
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone's different. And I mean, almost in that case, you could almost have felt like your privacy and space was sort of violated in a slight way because maybe you hadn't wanted to bring that into the workplace.
Yeah, and I also think this just goes to show how as society we're not really taught how to handle other people's grief. I see her as doing really the best that she knew to do at the time, and I think that as we all go on our individual paths of learning how to cope with our own grief, we'll also become better at supporting others through theirs. But I could see how it wouldn't have been received so well. And I also could have seen how I could have called out. I think I would have been, I would have actually shed those tears if I had called out. Because instead I just kept distracting myself for the next few weeks,
Right. Yeah, interesting. And we're going to talk about that in this episode. And certainly it's not all about if you take time off. I just think the things that we're allowed to take time off work for are an indication of overall how people respond. And yeah, when it comes to breakups, not everyone is going to really give you the time you need, but
and that was a very progressive situation too. Like working at an animal shelter, we had in our paid time off like list of things was 3 days for pet bereavement. So
Oh,
if your pet died, and which is
oh.
great because like everyone there understands how painful
Oh,
that
it was
is.
out of the
It's
pet
at an animal
nonprofit.
welfare nonprofit. So they were like, yeah, we're going to just write this into the code because we're all probably going to have this happen eventually. Um,
Can you, yeah, I mean, I guess they
yeah.
kind of had to. Can you imagine if they, okay, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
think though I would have been a little more impressed had it not been a pet.
Yeah.
Is it a
Yeah.
shelter or a,
It was an animal shelter, animal
uh-huh,
welfare. I
uh-huh.
mean, it goes by many names, but
Well, so how do you think they would have taken request for time off work for a breakup?
um, I don't know. I mean, uh I think it wouldn't have been impossible. But
Okay,
it
but
would
you're
be very
thinking
much,
about
I
it.
would feel very weird about
That's
asking
the
for it.
thing. You would
Yeah.
not want to voice that.
I don't think a lot of people are going to want to ask for that because I know that I wouldn't, and I'm, a freaking breakup coach, and I still probably wouldn't want to.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I would do. All right, but our point
Tangent
being,
over.
no, I love our tangents. Our point being though is that you are allowed to grieve
Mhm,
and that you must grieve in many
mhm,
cases in order to get it out of your system. So the grieving process is just as important as everything else that we and other breakup coaches talk about. Which,
mhm.
okay, so what do breakup coaches talk about? No contact, self-care, affirmations, writing in your journal, and we also need to talk about grieving and giving space for it.
Yes.
And a big part of the grieving process for some people, or a part of it, is crying.
Yeah.
I don't know why I need to do that, but all right. So
Yeah.
crying can be an extremely therapeutic part of the grieving process. Yeah, it often goes either overlooked or discredited, or people don't want to do it. People don't want to talk about it. So we thought we'd do an episode on the healing benefits of this very human response to pain and why you should embrace it rather than avoid it.
Mhm.
All right. So I think it's funny that we're doing an episode on this, but I think both of us are kind of the type that would prefer to avoid this pain response. So let's talk
Yes.
about that.
Yeah, I'm not great at crying.
Hey, different strokes for different folks. So
Yeah.
I read in as I was preparing for this episode that average woman or women on average cry 5 to 6 times a month. So for me, I wouldn't say that I cry that often. I
No.
can probably pinpoint every time I've cried in the last several months. I could probably
Yeah.
say what it was about.
Yeah. I
I cried
probably wish
yesterday.
I could cry 5 to 6 times a month,
Yeah,
but I don't.
possibly because I don't know. Maybe I'm just like go go go, and I don't let things get to me.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it's not my response.
Mhm.
Though when I heard about the shootings yesterday morning,
Mhm.
I did cry, which kind
Yeah.
of surprised me in a way, just because I don't know, something in the news. I wouldn't say I'm desensitized, but yeah, it really got to me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Um, so what was I going to say? Oh, but all right. I had a reason for bringing this average woman thing up. So while I might not cry 5 to 6 times a month, when
Mhm.
I do cry, I really, really give space for it, for
Yeah.
sure. I let it come on, and then because it's typically something that I need to process, I will really, really let it come on,
Mhm.
and like sink into it, like really sob,
Yeah.
sometimes like really out loud,
Yeah.
sometimes,
Full send
yeah,
crying.
yeah. And I will say it really does feel good. It really does help me to process the
Mhm.
emotions.
Yeah.
And I won't get into too much detail, but the last time that I had a really good cry was on Christmas Day. Well, Christmas
Oh.
night. It's all right. It's all right. Because I could just tell, pandemic holidays aren't really that great, as a
No
starting point.
way.
No. And then, some stuff happened that just kind of hurt my feelings with some family members. And I just kind of avoided it all day long because it's Christmas. I'm like, I'm not going to let this ruin my Christmas. But then once the night hit, and it was really weighing on me, of course, because it was Christmas. I had had some wine and sad. Well, it wasn't a sad song. It was a song that someone was singing about their family and like loving their family. And I started to like feel it bubble up. And I was like, I'm putting on the song. And so I put on the song again and I just let it go. Like, I don't even know how long I cried, but I really processed it. And then afterward, I have to say, I don't know if I cried myself to sleep in this case, but I really felt like, I feel a little better now. I'm really glad I did that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to move things through your body. And there's actually, it's called journal speak. It was kind of created by this lady Nicole Sachs, Sachs, I believe, and she works a lot with chronic pain and helping cure chronic pain. And journal speak is what she uses with her clients because she says there's a link between chronic pain and unprocessed emotions. And she has people like write a list of literally everything that they think of, no matter how petty, that has happened that has like caused them some sort of emotional pain. And every morning you just pick something from the list and you go full 2-year-old temper tantrum on whatever happened. You just write it out. You're like, this made me feel so terrible. This is the worst thing, like total hyperbole. And you just lean into that instead of being like, no, my adult brain is saying that one time I was teased in second grade doesn't matter that much. She's like, no, be like, that was the worst thing that ever happened to me. That has followed me ever since. And like all of this stuff. And it's quite dark, but she says that, so much of this stuff that we've experienced, we never really gave it the stage. We never gave it the chance to be as terrible as we felt it was in that moment. And so like crying, like what you were saying about Christmas, you were like, I'm going to lean into it. And afterwards you felt so much better. And that's kind of like the same thing with journal speak. So
it sounds a little bit like this ubiquitous shadow work that everyone is very into talking about these days, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You're going into the darkness instead of like avoiding acknowledging that it exists.
And you have to, because that shit, if you bottle it up, it explodes eventually.
Exactly.
So that's kind of my relationship with crying. And also I do think that this is something that I prefer to do alone. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later in the episode. And I know sometimes there have been times that people have seen me sad and they're like, just do it, it's okay. And just, I don't know all the reasons. This is just something I like to lean into solo. So that's me.
Yeah, there's only so much social reconditioning we can do at one time. It's like I'm working on some stuff, so I'm not going to work on the fact that I don't feel comfortable crying in front of people right now.
Like I'm good. I've got some other stuff that I'm working on.
One thing at a time, okay?
But you know what? I didn't put this in here, but apparently this crying in front of other people is thought to be so therapeutic that there are bars or cafes in Japan where people go and get triggered and then cry at the cafe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and there's like people there to hold space, and it's a thing. I can't remember the name of it.
That's awesome, because I know this is probably very out of date information that I have, but I know Japan was facing kind of a mental health crisis.
Oh yeah, maybe this is in response to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We should look into it, and maybe we could do an IG live or something about it, because I
Yeah.
think people would find it interesting.
Ooh, I think so. Yeah.
So, Claire, what about you?
Yeah, personally, I am usually crying alone. I do like to call someone that I trust to kind of vent while I cry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and sometimes because I do struggle to get crying, like
Mhm.
I'll just be like hours, be like,
Hours.
yeah, just going throughout my day and being
Oh,
like, oh, I feel really shitty. Like, I wish I could just cry. And then, like, not being able to. But then, if I like, call up my dad, tears
mhm.
immediately. And, it just, I'm able to
Okay.
let that release happen.
Mhm, mhm.
So yeah, or call up, like, I have a couple friends who like my longtime best friend, she's always gotten the first call after I break up with someone.
Oh, that's
So
good. Okay, so this is good. So what you've learned about her is that she is good for
yeah.
providing breakup support. Oh, I'm glad that you have that.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so I have trouble crying, but like, if I see a sports montage where like one runner helps another runner across the line,
Oh,
tears instantly. Like
okay,
that
okay.
that sort of inspirational shit really
Uh-huh.
gets me.
Mhm.
But like,
What movie has made you cry the most?
oh, I cried. Becoming Jane made me cry when they're old and they look at
Oh
each other
wow,
across the
I've
room.
oddly never watched that movie.
Oh
Okay,
my
all
God,
right.
Janice, you would
I
love
know.
it. Oh
Okay.
my God, it's like right up your alley.
Okay.
Oh my
I don't
God,
know what
it's
it is.
so
Okay.
good. Becoming Jane, it's about Jane Austen
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Anne
I know of it.
Hathaway.
I know of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that
I feel
one
like there was
guy.
just like so much Jane Austen stuff coming out for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I am a fan of hers. Okay, so Becoming Jane and what else?
Becoming Jane.
Did you cry
Um,
when we watched Twilight?
no, I didn't cry when I watched
I didn't
Twilight.
either. I think for me,
Yeah, what about you?
I'm sure there are others because both of these are way old, like
Yeah.
college and both high school. Both high school. Okay, Titanic, I'm sorry, but I
Yeah.
really cried. That was a very sad ending, obviously, and it really got to me. And
Yeah.
then have you seen Life is Beautiful?
No.
Yeah, it's intense. It's a World War II movie, and
Oh
the father gets killed at the
yeah.
end, and oh
My God.
god, it
Atonement.
destroyed me emotionally.
Yeah. Atonement,
Um,
I cried as well.
mm.
That was like one of my favorite books for a while. But
All right, so a few tear jerkers there
yeah.
for you, listeners. All right, so um, scientists believe that humans are the only species that cry because of emotions. So I know that there's lots of gifs with bears crying and whatnot, but we probably are the only animal that have that response. So let's talk a bit about some theories around why we cry.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this would be interesting to include. Yet I was also kind of amazed that once I started reading even different academic articles on this, that there is lots of conflicting opinion about human
Mm-hmm.
crying.
Mm-hmm.
So we love hearing from everybody, but I don't necessarily want to hear from people who say that we're way off on these theories, because some people believe them, some people don't. They're just theories. But the
Yeah.
ones that I selected are ones that I felt really made the most sense to me. And
Mm-hmm.
respected scientists are exploring these as reasons for why we cry. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought we would still go into it. So, theory number one, I thought this was so interesting. So, crying can help us bond with or receive care from others because it's a
Mm.
physical sign that others can see that we are in pain.
Yeah.
So, why is this a theory? Scientists have found that emotional tears differ from the tears that we get, for instance, when we chop onions, in that they're more viscous and stick to the skin more strongly,
Okay.
which I guess is true. It does seem like the tears from onions, um, they don't stay. They don't
Yeah.
create, they don't stick around as much as emotional
Yeah.
tears. Um, yeah, I do believe this. So obviously because they're more viscous, they make them more likely to be seen by others.
Because they stick to
And
your skin.
right. And I think that there's probably more emotional tears too. I mean, tears from onions can go away kind of quickly. But
Yeah.
so I hate tears from onions so
Yeah, they're
bad.
so bad.
Ugh. So some also believe that these tears are more viscous because they carry toxins out of our system,
Mhm.
which we may need when we are grieving. And
Yeah.
this is the theory that I saw argued the most. You know, one paper would say it does, and then another paper would say this has been disproven. But whatever, I think it makes sense.
Mhm.
And I think that you also thought that this was a sticking point for you, right?
Yeah, so I mean on the point of making the tears more likely to be seen by others, you know, evolution, they don't have like, oh, here's a problem, let's come up with a solution. It's more like, here's something that happened randomly. Did it make it more likely for those people to procreate?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know, I think so that could be just a happy coincidence that it does help solidify like social bonds, which is very important for human survival and human procreation.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what evolution's all about.
Essentially, yeah.
So yeah, but then also for carrying toxins out of the system, I thought that was a really interesting point and one that I think is pretty valid because when we're stressed, we're releasing all of these stress hormones in our body. And so, you know, these up our risk of cancer and heart disease and all of this bad stuff. And so having a grieving process that literally carries those stress hormones out of our body, I think is really efficient and helps us survive. And that's probably why, part of the reason why you feel so much better after you cry is because you've been able to shed some of those stress hormones. You're not as full of
Totally. Yeah.
them.
And I'm going
Yeah.
to talk more about self-soothing in a moment.
Awesome.
And then I also wanted to mention that I also, as far as this crying in front of other people theory goes, that I did come across a study in which a bunch of people cried. There was a study on crying, and I read about it in the Journal of Research on Personality. And the people who the people who cried alone or with one other person were typically found to feel better after, whereas if you cried in front of two or more people, you felt worse or the same.
Yeah.
So it is about like the bond between just one other person, which could be evolutionary.
Fun
The
fact
second
about
theory
Claire.
is what you just said about releasing stress, and that emotional tears can be self-soothing and have a cathartic effect, which I definitely believe. So, oh, did you know that there is a world expert on crying? Okay,
No.
this came up in almost everything that I read about this topic. His name is Odd Vingerholtz, a professor from the Netherlands. And listen, he's the author of Why Only Humans Weep. It's a book, and among 6 other books on human crying.
Wow.
So, Odd, if you are listening, I would like to have you on. I did look into him a little bit. He looks like a fascinating man, and I would love to like talk crying
Definitely.
shop.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
um,
Could you imagine
he
being
has
friends with
found.
him? And and you're like, I'm having a really bad day. He's like, cry, I want to watch.
I'm gonna be taking notes. Oh my god, no.
We're like,
that's
no.
all the no's for me.
Yeah.
All right. So he found in one of his many studies on the topic that he watched people who cried or did not cry because of watching sad movies. So listen to this. So he found that 90 minutes after the movie, the people who had cried because of the movie were in a better mood 90 minutes later than those who had not but had watched the same movie. In fact, the study said that they actually felt worse. They were in a bad mood because of
Dang.
watching the sad movie.
That's really interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, because they trapped their emotions inside.
Yeah,
They're
possibly. Yeah.
processing
And they
it.
didn't get it out of their system. Imagine if I had just kept all of the Titanic feelings inside of me rather than not crying for probably a good hour after. I could still have
Oh,
Titanic trauma.
yeah. You just walk around for the next few days. Being like, there was room
Jack.
on the door. There was room on the door.
Oh my god. That movie. All right. So anything else that you want to say about stress and crying? I mean, to me it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, this is just not the same as crying, but animals do release stress by having a physical reaction, and that's
Okay.
shaking. So
Oh.
if you like rough your cat around or
Uh-huh.
whatever, you'll see that they like, you pet them like aggressively and they walk away, you'll see them shake like to like
That's
shake
clear
off
talk.
the stress of being loved on, or like in more traumatizing circumstances as well, like if you're watching a wildlife documentary and the water buffalo gets away, they'll like shake it off and be like, oh, that was a lot of stress, you
The
know.
water buffalo shakes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty much like with all animals. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to being like someone bringing something else forward on that, but I'm pretty sure it's like all animals, they
Okay.
shake it off, you know?
Oh.
Um, they don't have the crying power that we do, but they do something physical in order to remove, like somatically get it out of
Mm-hmm.
their body.
Yeah. And I mean, we don't have to get into this now, but I'm sure you're probably aware of the shaking rituals, that
Yeah.
some new age groups do, which I don't think that that's quite up my alley, but some humans even find shaking to be cathartic.
Yeah, we
All
just have a
right.
lot of
And
conditioning that says that that's not
I can definitely
normal.
accept that that's probably why I've never been able to get into the public shaking. But if
Yeah.
you are into shaking and you want to talk to us about it, hit us up because that could be
Yeah.
quite interesting. All right. So we are going to talk soon about why grieving is important. But first, we're going to take a quick break. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we hope you're all enjoying this episode on crying and grieving so far.
Oh.
No, if anyone has a good cry after listening to this, I really, really want to know.
Yeah.
Especially
Yes.
if it helps. If it doesn't help,
Especially if it helps.
that's valid as well. But
Well, yeah. I mean, I think everything feels worse before it feels better.
yeah,
Probably.
good point, girl.
Yeah.
All right, so why are we talking about this? So,
Why?
as we said earlier, grieving is absolutely essential for healing. It's important for being able to think about your new future, for preparing ourselves for new relationships. And this is partially why both of us coach, because this is a period that deserves to be recognized and allowed, and it's often not. And people really, really benefit from getting extra support during this time. And I
Mhm.
love this this time frame or this time period, this stage of the breakup process.
Mhm.
So, when we fail to recognize the sadness that we're experiencing, we ignore a lot about our overall breakup experience.
Mhm.
So, we don't think about what led to the breakup. We don't think about what we want in our next relationship.
Mhm.
We don't think about that we're hurt. We don't think about what hurt us. And
Mhm.
so, it can have a really long lasting impact. And I won't go into too many details, but everyone probably knows already that I'm a DV survivor, and that the first couple months after this breakup, I wasn't really given the space to process what had happened. I was a mess. And then about 3 months into it, I ended up moving to Australia where nobody really knew about the situation. And I just buried it.
Mhm.
I started meeting people. I started like really compulsively socializing, going out. I kind of got into party culture, and I just pushed it down, pushed it down, pushed it down. And it was good. I know, Claire, you have talked about that there is a time when processing can kind of get in the way a bit in our lives. And I
Mhm.
was kind of bordering on that.
Mhm.
And so it was good that I was able to distract myself for a short period. But then I just never addressed what happened.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had a really hard time having like healthy, functional, joyous relationships for a really long time, because as
Yeah.
soon as I would get close to a man, little things that reminded me of the abuse would come up, or I'd get quote triggered, and I just wasn't able to really build intimacy with people.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yeah.
do need to really embrace this part of the process.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's, I think if you lean too heavily on distraction in the beginning and you're like, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm going through life, I'm coping well, you start entering new relationships, you start,
Mm.
being in your life. And sometimes it's not until you've built something, at whatever stage, but when you feel safe enough to start that processing, it can be really poor timing because you've been
Yeah.
acting like you're fine, saying you're fine, telling yourself that you're fine. And then, you're possibly, ruining things that not ruining, but you're,
Sabotaging,
yeah, you're self-sabotaging because,
preventing.
yeah, it can put a spanner in the works of what you're trying to build for yourself if you haven't processed what you've gone through yet. And I get that, and I get why that happens, because I think it's like when you're in survival mode, you're not working on processing feelings,
Mm.
and it's when you get that feeling of safety back a lot of times that you feel comfortable enough to start feeling the feelings.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mm.
yeah, and so it can, it sounds like a lot of what you went through with moving to Australia. You were like survival
Mm.
mode, build something, build a container that I feel safe in. And then when you did start feeling safe, that's when you started processing a lot of what you've been
Yeah,
through.
completely.
Yeah.
Like I said, it came up in dating situations, or I would like be drinking and having fun with my friends, and then all of the sudden
Boom.
do an embarrassing overshare that had like nothing to do, because I with just the hangout. So yeah, I definitely, this is a perfect example of just the fact that a lot of people, it might seem like a cliche that if you bottle something down it comes up, but
Hmm.
I know from experience that it does
Yeah,
completely.
it 100% does. So yeah, definitely agree with that. Yeah, so just know things are not necessarily linear. We'll go more into this soon, but
Yep.
just
We've talked
know,
about
yeah,
linearity
linearity.
with breakups and grief in the past,
Yeah,
and we'll continue to come back to it,
yeah,
because yeah, I mean, even if you do give space to the grieving, it can still come up.
yeah, it can
It's
still
not
come
like
up.
you get 2 weeks and then now you move on to the getting your
Next
groove back
stage.
phase.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does go back and forth, but I know that if
yeah.
you don't give the 2 weeks or the month to the grieving, that
Hmm.
you're not going
So
to be able to
much
move
harder.
forward when you're ready
Yeah.
to.
And if you're listening to this podcast, just know you are doing everything
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like you are giving yourself such an advantage. Like the fact that you are looking at a breakup as something that has a solution,
Oh my god,
as
every
something
time.
that you can
Yeah.
you can do well or do poorly, you're on the right track. And I just want to recognize like how much you are doing for yourself right now just by seeking out information like this.
It's what I think every single time that we get a DM from someone. I just want to tell them, like, you are doing so well. You're prioritizing yourself. You're way farther, like you're
Yeah.
more ahead in the game than you think you are,
Yeah.
because you're,
Yeah.
yeah, you're really paying attention to your healing, and
Mhm.
also like taking responsibility and ownership over your healing experience.
Yeah.
I agree. We love
It's
you,
huge. So empowered. You guys are
listeners.
so empowered. So amazing. All right. So, the University of Washington Counseling Department says that grieving helps us move on from what has just happened. And one way of understanding the work to be done is to think of grieving as a series of tasks that we need to complete, not necessarily in sequence, one before the other, but more like a check off, a list, you know? So number one, just, no particular order, but number one, you need to accept the finality of the loss. I think this is our number one in our breakup commandments as well.
Yeah, and I read, I don't remember where, but I read that there's something about crying that helps to the brain to recognize that the loss is final. I didn't put it in here, but I did come across that a couple of times. And I guess that's kind of some type of physical signal to the brain that something big has happened. And so maybe it'll just help you more to kind of internalize and accept it if you cry.
Yeah, everything is connected. So number two, acknowledge and express the full range of feelings we experience as a result of the loss. So cry.
Yeah, perfect example.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you probably have I think that you have mentioned that you had like complex breakups where it's like you're glad, and this was my experience with my divorce. It's like I was so relieved that I didn't have to see him every day. But then I have mentioned my God. Divorcees, my heart goes out to you. All right, so at the same time, when he kind of like when he walked out the door, like kind of when we said it was over, I think it was like he was going to go stay with someone. I cried my heart out. It was so you can have complex. It doesn't have to be all grief. You can have relief and grief, or anger and grief.
We're all about nuance and the fact that two seemingly opposite things can exist at the same time within one person. So it's all about nuance. You can love someone, choose not to be with them, be sad that they're gone, and happy that now you get to plan your whole life without them in it. So it's it's a handful. So
that's why we're like 20 episodes into only talking about breakups.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I can't even imagine running out of topics. No end in sight. Right, I'm sorry, go on.
So our third task in our work of grieving is to adjust to a life in which the lost person is absent. This can be for objects or an experience as well. So you're not just grieving the fact that you're not with someone anymore. You're grieving the fact that you're like never going to be able to make that burger as good as they did. It's like all of those little like rituals that you did together, kind of like your schedule, that comfortability of just knowing what to expect when you come home from work. You're grieving
that was my
all
favorite.
of that too.
I love that. I love hearing the keys, when you come home. Yeah.
Aww.
And this is why I think Sundays are very hard for people. I've said this before also. I mean, Sundays are kind of when you just kind of chill with your partner for a lot of people. So grieve. It's not happening anymore.
Oh.
I was just gonna say that was very just
like damn
to the point. But I'm all about the like recognizing that Sundays are hard and like kind of feeling into it, and also pushing through it in a way, because I know that some people can. This is a tempting time to reach out.
Yeah. And then we have our fourth task, and this one I love so much. To say goodbye, to ritualize our movement to a new peace with the loss. So rituals are so important. Like every culture has their own rituals, and you can make your own for this circumstance. This is why we have marriages and high school graduation ceremonies and rain dances and, you know, all of these things. um Trying to draw from multiple cultures, and that was
No,
all
for
I
sure. I
got.
mean, that's
So
actually a very good example of one. I'm very into ritual, and I think we
mhm.
should do an episode on this. And
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. And it's the acknowledgement of what's happened that
Yeah.
we create a ritual around.
Yeah, so as you're going through these 4 tasks of accepting the finality of the loss, to express the full range of feelings, to adjust to life without this person, and to ritualize your movement onwards, good friends, family members, a personal counselor, a coach can all be very helpful in doing this vital work. You can also do a good deal to help yourself. A lot of our other episodes will talk about things you can do practically during this process to help. One more thing, I referenced this earlier, but you've probably heard of the stages of grief being referenced.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah, and what people don't know is that these were actually identified in terms of people coming to terms with their own mortality. So I think it's Kubler-Ross, she first identified the 5 stages in her book On Death and Dying in 1969.
I've heard of this book.
Yeah, so denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. I feel like we've all heard of these.
Yeah.
But these were never supposed to be misappropriated to people being left after losing someone. They were actually based on anecdotal evidence from conversations with 200 dying patients who were coming to terms with their own death. And this was not an empirical study. So these stages of grief, yes, we may experience these when we're coping with a loss of our own, but it's not necessary, like they're not to be applied to people who are left. And I think that's why these stages are able to be so uncomplicated, because the person passes away after gaining acceptance. Whereas if you're still living, you process these things over and over and over again. You're like denial, bargaining, anger, bargaining, depression, anger, denial, acceptance, denial, anger, bargaining. You know, you're all over the place. There's no order. There's no length of time. These are just like, I guess, vocabulary we can use to describe our experience, but it's not to be like, this is the step-by-step process that all people
right.
follow.
Yeah, especially in breakups. I mean, we had just barely said that it's not linear. So yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, of course. We're gonna do a happy hour on that movie I've told you about ages ago, How to Get Over a Breakup. Yes. And they correlate the different stages of grief with her story. It's really cute. And so we'll see how they did it, but
yeah, and I think
one woman's experience.
Yeah, they definitely apply. It's just like, this is not.
But so the theory though of the 5 stages of grief, from as I understand it, is that you must go through each to move on to the next to get to the end, right? Is how, okay. So yeah, you're right. It's not applicable to all breakups.
Yeah, you know, and I think especially if you're the person breaking up with someone, which is still very hard, you might start in acceptance and be like, I'm breaking up with them, this is happening. And then, you know, a week later, you're starting to get those withdrawals and you're really, you're having trouble,
you're right.
And you start bargaining and being like, well, maybe if they work on themselves and they fix this one thing, maybe then we could get back together. Maybe this is just the wrong time. You know?
I think a lot of denial goes into deciding to break up with someone too. Because you've probably been unhappy for a while. Yep, interesting points. I think we should come back to this.
So okay, I see. You go through the stages before the breakup.
Probably, yeah. I'm just thinking of my own and just knowing that I was really unhappy, but just kind of denying that it was real, or kind of, and then bargaining, kind of thinking like, but maybe I can fix it if I try harder. Different for everyone. I think it's different for everyone.
This is so good. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that.
Yeah. That's important, because I think that, because just like what we talked about with the that it takes you half the time of the relationship to get over the breakup, that these are things that are so ingrained, because we hear about the 5 stages of grief, same with this stupid half the time theory, in pop culture all the time.
All the
and
time.
so people just think that these are true things. That was not articulate, but you know what I mean. People think that this is real, this is how you're meant to cope
this
with
is
stuff,
the definition. It is written in stone.
All right, so you need to do what's right for you, but you do need to do it, because when we hold on to feelings of anger, sadness, resentment, and other breakup feelings towards others, it becomes harder to let the person go. Even if you don't necessarily want to get back together with them, if you're still holding on to this anger, way later, then you're still holding on to them. And I know a lot of people listening want to get to the point where they can date again and have a healthier, happier, more joyous relationship. And if you don't let your previous partner go, you can't really do that. So even if you're angry or sad about your ex, and you don't want to get back together with them, they could still become what you talk about a lot, the phantom ex. Or you could just simply be holding on to negative emotions and this connection towards this person that will prevent you from bonding with someone new.
Yeah.
So, and then I thought of this as I was writing a little outline for this episode is, the cliche, and tell me if this has ever happened to you, of going on a first date with someone and having them talk about their ex. And this is because this person hasn't grieved and processed and let the person go, so much so that they go on a first date and bring it up. It's the biggest turnoff in the world. And people don't go into a first date thinking that they're going to talk about their ex, but it's almost like you can't help it because you haven't appropriately gotten it out of your system.
Yes, this has definitely happened to me. And at the time I was kind of relieved because it was a date, after I had broken up with my ex-fiance. So I was like, oh my God, I've been engaged before. Like, when do you tell someone that,
Oh my God. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And he brought up the fact that he had been engaged on the first date. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, phew, me too. Like, cool. But yeah, it definitely is, it's kind of a red flag.
Red flag, turn off.
Yeah, it's kind of a red flag, but I was stoked because I was no longer worried about like when you're supposed to bring that up. So yeah.
Okay. Do you still think it should be on a first date?
No.
Okay, good. All right.
I wouldn't have brought it up if he hadn't. So yeah, I don't think first date is, I think there's there's like the old school, like sleep with someone after 3 dates, maybe talk about your ex after at least 3 dates. Like, yeah. I think you do get to know a lot about someone, about how they talk about their ex.
That's a really good point. I agree.
Or any of their exes. So I do ask about those things.
Yeah, if someone says their ex was crazy,
you're like, we'd probably be friends.
A good sign. All right. So yeah, get it out of your system before you start wanting to seriously date again.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine it's going to go a lot smoother. I would almost guarantee that
and then
it will.
When it does come up naturally, not on the first date.
Right.
It's not an emotionally charged conversation.
Yes, exactly. You should talk about your exes with new partners. And but from a place of a bit of a disconnect in a way. And if you have been dating someone for maybe a couple months and they're not talking about their exes, like even when it comes up, that's also a red flag too. All right, well, I'm making notes.
This is
got to talk about this tangent, more.
But
all right, talking about the future X-Files episode. All right. So let's talk about how much crying is too much crying, or potentially how much grieving is too much grieving.
True.
So I don't think that it's a matter of how long or how often you cry, as far as it is a matter of how the grieving process is impacting your day to day. So another great quote from the same University of Washington Counseling Department article says, and I really like this: active, healthy grieving requires balance. Balancing the time you spend directly working on your grief with the time you spend coping with your day-to-day life. Balancing the amount of time you spend with others with the amount of time you spend alone. Balancing seeking help from others with caring for yourself. Focusing too strongly on any single side of these pairings is getting off track.
Whoa.
So if you're still in the grieving process, but you are working on yourself, which you are because you're listening to a freaking breakup podcast.
Hell yeah, high five.
Yeah, you're doing the right things. If it's not preventing you from getting up, from going to work, with seeing others, paying bills, then you're on the right track.
Yeah.
If your grieving is getting in the way of those things, then there is absolutely nothing wrong with seeking counseling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get help, because that's what it's there for.
I mean, you might be amazed at how just having a few sessions with a counselor is just going to launch you to the next level of your healing journey.
Yeah.
So,
and I think, we're getting to a place where there's not so much stigma with that, but just know, you're not meant to go to a counselor for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You're meant to do it for a short time to deal with certain circumstances, and a short time being, 2 months to 2 years, it depends on what you're going through. But the idea is that you come out of it better than you came into it. And I just love that quote. Who knows who it's from, but it's just circulated on the internet, where it says, the reason so many people go to therapy is because of people who refuse to go to therapy.
Oh yeah, that is probably true. Yeah, do it.
Do it. Yeah, because hurt people.
Yeah, oh, true. And
take
you
care
don't
of your own
need
lawn.
to take care of your own lawn. Yeah, that's good. You don't need to be out of your relationship dealing with a breakup and also like lose your job or let your health go or alienate your friends. And so anytime that you see that that's starting to happen, call in some reinforcements.
Yes.
It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful when people can see that they need more help. So any final words on crying before we get to our special segment?
No. I would just say, if you have trouble crying, or, you maybe don't have a private space to do it, car drives can be great if you can safely cry while driving, or drive to a spot to cry. Put on a playlist specifically that is going to trigger the F out of you.
I'll drop some.
Yeah, Janice has some amazing playlists put together for the X-Files. Because you can have that solitude in your car, and you're not going to have to worry about people walking in on you, and just make that kind of a nice ritual for yourself. Bring a journal and just have like a date with yourself to go process some emotions.
Yeah. Oh, and we really wish you the best, and we really honor and respect you for taking time to do that.
Awesome. Well, welcome to our next issue of Breakup Ballads, Toxic or Empowering,
Ding, ding, ding.
Where we review songs to see if we would agree with how they're handling their breakup. Because what else sounds more fun to close a podcast with? So this week, Janice chose the song this week. So we're doing Daffodil Lament. by the
Cranberries.
Cranberries. Yeah.
Yes. So a little more old school, slash much more old school than the song we chose last week.
Uh-huh.
But so I have a bunch of songs that I want to do. But for this one, I thought it might be good to end an episode where, we're talking about grieving and crying and processing sadness with what I consider to be one of the most positive, hopeful breakup songs that I know of.
Yeah.
So slash the one that I like to listen to the most when I'm, looking forward for my future after just kind of having left something that was important to me at one point. So I discovered this song during my divorce or around that time. It was a very long time ago, and so I'm not exactly sure. I definitely did not look up breakup songs. What I highly would assume happened is that I used to be super into Pandora Radio. I don't even have the app anymore, but oh my God, I loved the song suggestions that Pandora would give. I discovered several, even artists that I listen to this day through Pandora's recommendations.
The same.
And so I would very much assume that it just came up one day, but I don't know for sure. But when I got divorced, I selected this song and I put together this kind of morning breakup playlist of, this song, but also some that were much more aggressive and kind of kick-ass. And I would listen to it, every morning on the subway. And it really helped comfort me. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that I probably did listen to this song every morning for quite some time. Dang. And I think that it's really beautiful. I listened to it today, knowing that we were going to record this, and I think they knocked it out of the park, and I love it. And I thought it would be fun to end on something empowering that involves looking to your future.
Awesome.
So we will go through the lyrics and we'll say what we think. Okay. So I'm going to laugh for some reason. Okay. So the song starts out with a really beautiful instrumental opening. And then is the lyrics say, holding on, that's what I do since I met you. And it won't be long. Would you notice if I left you? And it's fine for some, because you're not the one. You're not the one.
Wow.
So obviously the person singing is kind of getting ready to leave someone.
Leave.
Yeah. And which this is what we go through when, we're the one to walk away, is like, is this going to matter? Is this going to make any difference? And, I related to this during my divorce because sometimes I just felt like I was just sort of holding my breath, just sort of waiting for the other shoe to drop, and just this holding on feeling. So next it says, all night long laid on my pillow, these things are wrong, I can't sleep here.
Oh, that's the worst feeling. Or it's just like, this is not right, this is bad. No.
Yeah. And also these kind of ideas and revelations that we get at night. And especially sometimes when we're sleeping next to the person.
Yes.
Sucks.
Yeah.
All right. So now we get into the good stuff. So it starts off, so lovely, so lovely. I have decided to leave you forever. I have decided to start things from here. Thunder and lightning won't change what I'm feeling. And the daffodils look lovely today. The daffodils look lovely today. Lovely today.
Do you think that daffodils are actually daffodils, or do you think it's all the other options?
Well, but like what?
Like all the other men.
Okay, so what I kind of have in mind is just that, this is a person who's making a really big decision to walk away, and just kind of this feeling of being able to recognize something so simple, but that's just bringing her so much joy. And that through seeing something just as simple as a daffodil, just having this feeling of, like it's going to be all right.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
it
gonna be
just
all
is.
right. And I might as well do it on a day when the daffodils are looking
Yeah.
lovely and there's like some optimism in the
Yes. And
air.
there's the spring symbolism of, a new beginning and hope and a fresh start.
Yeah, I've
Mhm.
decided to start things from here.
Yeah.
I love that wording.
I
Yeah, it's
love this
like
song so
because we
much.
we hear breakups as
Mhm.
like ending things,
Yes.
and she's
Yes.
like, no, I've
hmm
decided to start things from here
Yep.
because I'm
Yeah.
leaving you forever.
It's such a good way to look at a breakup. And yes,
Yeah,
the finality of it. I am leaving. I'm starting my new
forever.
thing. And I am looking at the sunflowers and the daffodils and smelling the roses.
Oh, so good.
It's so
Yeah.
beautiful too. Such lovely instrumentals. So everyone go listen. But we got one more verse. In your eyes, I see the disguise. In your eyes, I see the disguise. Has anyone seen lightning? Has anyone looked lovely? And the daffodils look lovely today. And the daffodils look lovely today. Look lovely today.
Yeah.
So really
So,
putting a positive spin on her breakup and on the future. And
mm,
already, she's walked out the door, and the first thing that maybe catches her eye is how this lovely daffodil filled.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh,
that's enough to keep her going for, the next day or however long. And
yes.
also just the fact that she's able to see beauty. Sometimes
hmm
when we're in a breakup, you don't want to talk to people. You don't want people to look at you. And I could, sometimes when I was listening to this song on the subway, I did have a lot of heaviness in my heart. And, I just kind of wanted to get there. I wondered, like, can people see my black heart, like
Yeah.
people can tell that I'm going through this.
Yeah.
And the song was really comforting.
Yeah.
And it would kind of help me through the day to just kind of appreciate the little things and the small
hmm
moments, and the bagel that I would get before I got to work, and just putting time to sitting and enjoying it and eating it
Yeah.
rather than rushing with it.
hmm
And yeah,
Yeah.
to
And the
this day,
fact
it's still my favorite breakup song ever.
that's awesome.
I guess we'd have to ask her. I forgot her name,
So I guess
unfortunately.
she's like, the fact that the daffodils look lovely to her,
Mm-hmm.
she's more in love with life than in love with
Yes.
any human.
Yes. That is completely what I took away from it when
Yeah.
I started listening to it during my divorce. Completely.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep. Love
so
of life,
good.
love of nature, putting yourself first, love of your future, even though you kind of get by this image of the daffodils kind of and the open road that she's not really sure what
hmm
is in store, but she
Yeah.
just knows that it's going to be something good.
Yeah. And I don't know much about daffodils, um, like their symbology or anything. But what's interesting, and this is like a personal story, but
Oh boy.
um, what's interesting is that when my mom's dad died, my dad's mom planted daffodils on the shared grave of my mom's parents. And
Oh.
so that was in the late 70s.
Oh. Oh.
And and then I went to England 2 years ago and we found the graves and the daffodils were blooming. And it was the only
Whoa.
grave with daffodils. And so 50 years later, there were still daffodils and they bloom.
Wow.
It was February, so they
Mm.
bloom in the middle of winter. And so I think that's really interesting. Maybe
Mm.
that's the metaphor is that the daffodils bloom in the
Mm.
middle of winter.
Yeah, they're starting to come out now.
Yeah, so yeah, so she's been experiencing a winter and
Mm-hmm.
the daffodils are blooming.
Yeah,
Oh,
at the very, very
yeah.
beginning of the new season of her
Yeah.
life.
Aw.
So
So
this would be a breakup ballad that we would probably rate as empowering. I
yes. Yeah.
would.
Empowering. Definitely empowering.
Yep. And I know that it's slightly obscure. And so I'd love people to listen and let us know what they think. And I hope that
Yeah.
it, brings smile and hope to your breakup.
Yes.
because it did mine.
Oh.
All right. Oh, thank you so much for listening. Just as a reminder, we are building our online community, Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On Facebook. If you have a song you would like us to review, let us know, please. We will be doing this every episode in which it's just Claire and myself. So each week. That was a very long way to say we're doing this each week.
Once a week.
Right. Well, we've been talking about crying for a while now.
Yeah.
And thank you so much to everyone who listened. And thank you to everyone who's prioritizing their healing journey. You're doing amazing.
Yes.
And you got this.
Doing so amazing. All right, bye guys.
Bye. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
If you like this episode, tag us on your Instagram story so we can connect with you.
And you can find me, Claire, on Instagram at Claire Lofthouse.
And me, Janice, on Instagram at Janice Formicella. If you'd like to join our online community, find us on Facebook at Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On.
And here's a preview of our next episode.
Yes, I'm so glad that came through, because to me, that's exactly the lesson. It's like, no matter what's going on in the external, if you do want to have, like, the quality of the relationship that I have right now is because I've put so much focus on me and my values and knowing what I stand for and getting to know me. And then the more that I up-level my life, the more that I stop needing external things. Like, I don't need partying. I don't need everything comes from the inside.